Okay, let's forget everything you're hearing about oil prices for just a minute. The real story here, the one that truly matters, isn't just about what you pay at the pump. It's about the money itself. What we're watching unfold right now could be an earthquake in the global financial system, and it's all starting in one very specific, very important place. Think about it. For over 50 years, one currency has absolutely dominated the global economy, the US dollar. But that dominance, it might be starting to crack. And the fault line runs directly through one of the most critical shipping choke points on the entire planet. All right, so let's zoom in on the Strait of Hormuz. You can think of it as a vital artery for the world's energy supply. But in a crisis, it completely transforms into a pressure point, a single spot where one country can get incredible leverage over the entire global system. And to put that into perspective, we're talking about a fifth, fully 20% of the world's daily oil and natural gas supply being squeezed through this tiny, narrow passage. A disruption here isn't just some regional problem. It's a global shockwave. So you see, controlling this physical choke point means you have your hand on the lever of the global economy. This isn't just about stopping ships, it's about rewriting the rules of the game. And right now, it really looks like Iran is getting ready to make a very, very bold move with that lever. So here's the gambit. Reports are starting to bubble up that Iran might let tankers pass, but with one game-changing condition. Payment has to be in Chinese yuan, not US dollars. Now, this isn't just a simple currency swap. This is a direct shot at the very foundation of the petrodollar system. Okay, so to really get just how massive that move is, we have to jump in a time machine. We need to rewind back to the 1970s and see exactly how this whole system was built and why trying to challenge it is such a high-stakes gamble. So picture this. It's the early 70s. The dollar's link to gold has just been severed, and there's this huge vacuum in the financial world. Well, the US filled it with an absolutely brilliant strategic deal with Saudi Arabia. The arrangement was simple, but its effect was profound. Oil, the world's most vital commodity, would from then on be priced and sold only in US dollars. And in return, the US would guarantee the kingdom's security. And just like that, this created an incredibly powerful, self-reinforcing loop. All of a sudden, every single country on Earth needed US dollars to buy energy. This guaranteed a constant, massive global demand for the currency, and it cemented America's financial dominance for decades. It basically became the world's financial operating system. Okay, so with that backstory, let's fast forward back to today. Now we can see Iran's move for what it really is. This isn't some random act of defiance, right? No way. This is a calculated, strategic chess move with a few key objectives in mind. First, and this is a big one, it's about bypassing sanctions. Since the US has a line of sight into most dollar transactions, shifting to the yuan creates a financial escape hatch. Second, it's about strengthening the alliance with China, Iran's biggest oil customer and a really crucial partner. And third, and you can't underestimate this, it's a powerful symbolic blow against one of the key pillars of American global influence. And what makes this moment so absolutely critical is that Iran isn't acting in a vacuum. Its move is tapping into a much bigger and frankly accelerating trend, this global push for what people are calling de-dollarization. And you can see it right in the data from the IMF. I mean, look, the US dollar is still the king of the hill. It's the largest part of global reserves, no question. But its share has been slowly but surely declining. And at the same time, you see the Chinese yuan. Yeah, it's still a small slice, but its role is growing. The trend is unmistakable, even if it's gradual. And we're seeing signs of this shift pop up everywhere. Russia is selling its energy to China in yuan. India is experimenting with alternative payment systems. The BRICS nations are openly talking about designing new financial frameworks to just bypass the dollar entirely. So let's be clear. Iran didn't start this fire, but it may have just thrown a massive log on it. So what does this all actually mean for the global economy and, for you? How do these high-level geopolitical moves translate into real-world impacts that we can actually feel?
Well, it's a pretty clear chain reaction. First, tensions flare up and disrupt the flow of energy. That makes shipping super risky, so insurance costs go through the roof. Then, that tightens the global supply, which pushes prices for crude oil, jet fuel, and diesel way up. You've got airlines like Delta and American suddenly facing hundreds of millions in extra fuel costs. And where do you think those costs end up? They're passed on to us, the consumers, which just fuels broader inflation.
But this really goes beyond the immediate economic pain. For decades, American global power has rested on two huge pillars, its military might and its financial dominance. And while the military is still unmatched, that second pillar, the financial one, is now being actively chipped away at from multiple directions all at once. So, of course, this leads to the one key question on everyone's mind. Is this the end? Is the petrodollar system just going to collapse and disappear overnight? Well, the simple answer is no, not overnight. The yuan just isn't ready to take over. I mean, China's financial system is still pretty closed off. They have these strict capital controls that limit how money can flow in and out. And frankly, global markets still have this deep-seated trust in the stability of the US system. A sudden collapse would honestly hurt everybody. But the key takeaway here isn't about the petrodollar vanishing tomorrow. It won't. The real question, the thing we all need to watch, is how fast the rest of the world builds a viable alternative. What we're seeing in the Strait of Hormuz is a crucial test. It's a sign that the next global power struggle might not be fought with aircraft carriers, but with currencies. The dollar's reign isn't over, but for the first time in a very long time, it is no longer unchallenged. And that changes everything.